What is up, folks? This is Briston with Briston Gaming, and we are back with another episode of 7 Days to Die Mods Weekly, the show we help you figure out what mods are good for you. And this week, as you guys can see here, we are going to cover some cool gear mods. Now, unfortunately, none of the mods on this list are server-side. They will all have to be installed on client and server if you're playing with friends. But before we jump into that, I do want to say thank you, mod authors, and thank you, community members. It's just really cool to see everything you guys have done. Now we're going to jump into the mods. And the first mod is the RXEL Weapons by Rahane. And this is just a really cool mod that gives us two weapons that have a guaranteed chance to give shock damage. We have a 223 bolt action rifle and an M9 pistol. And we also have different ammo types for each gun, which is really cool. It's not just the one. We actually have the AP, the HP, which is fantastic. So you can actually get some pierce through, hit other zombies and stuff like that as well. But you can also craft these guns. You can find them, buy them, and craft them. But in order to craft them, you have to have the specific construction plan for each gun, and you have to level up their specific perk. So on this one, we can actually, learn that. And then now we can craft this right here. That's what it takes to craft. We have to have some handgun parts, some forged iron, some mechanical, electrical, and duct tape. And then if we learn this for the 223, we can craft it. So we've got some ladies here we're going to test out, and I'm going to show you guys the damage that is done with the bolt action. Oh, it would help if I reloaded. That's my apologies. We'll pop her in the chest. Pretty good damage on the bolt action. If you got a sneak attack off and you were from a distance or something, she was one of the tougher zombies, you see the electrical damage and everything kind of wore her down. And then the pistol is fantastic for if these guys are actually coming at us, we wanted to avoid getting hit, we could just do this. You see that first one is down. These two are going to pop up soon. We're going to let them just, create a little, there we go. And that's why I like this is, depending upon how you like to play, maybe you're one of those ones that really likes just to explore the world, stuff like that. This is a fantastic mod for it because now the harder zombies and stuff, wandering hordes, things like that. If you don't have Horde Night on, wandering hordes can still be a pain in the ass. This can help eliminate that because now you have something that can easily just shock a group of zombies, just, spray and pray, run away, get some distance, and then just start laying into them. And then especially if you're using the bolt action, you can get some heavy ammo down or some heavier damage and use the pistol to keep groups of them frozen with just, like I said, just spray and pray, just, cap as many of them as you can, and then just start laying into them with a big damage. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and move over to the next mod. Alright folks, so this next mod is the super cool Sacred Weapons by Rahane, and this goes kind of hand in hand with the previous mod. They are both RXEL weapons, but one is melee, one is ranged. And this is just really cool because it gives us 3 new spears that we can play around with in the game. So we have the Sacred Spear, the Sacred Spear of Virtue, and the Sacred Spear of Wrath. And how you get these is you actually find these sacred texts through looting, be it zombies, loot, stuff like that. And then you will craft spear parts with them. So you see you need steel tool parts and sacred text to craft a steel tool, or the sacred spear part. And then the sacred spear parts are used to craft both the repair kits that repair these items and the spears themselves and their upgraded versions. That's right. Each spear upgrades into the next higher one. So the sacred spear here upgrades into the Spear of Virtue. And then the Spear of Virtue upgrades into the Spear of Wrath. So you have a linear path of growth, which is actually really kind of cool. I like that it does that. And each spear grade, I guess, does slightly more damage than the previous. Like you see the Sacred Spear does 20 and 38. The Sacred Spear of Virtue does 32 and 54. And even though the Sacred Spear of Wrath is slightly lower, it still is on par with the tier 6 Spear of Virtue. You see, we have 30.8 and 55.8, whereas this one's 32.8 and 54.8. So it's just slight scaling, but the stamina usage and everything goes down on each one. So it gets better and better overall. And then if you spec into these, just like with everything else, you can really cause a heck of a lot of damage. And it's really cool with how the new poking holes through doors and stuff like that. Power attacks with these can do insane, take out a zombie, not use a lot of stamina to let you just sit there and pokey poke poke. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and move over to the next mod. Alright folks, so this next mod is the super cool Sacred All-in-One version 2 by DevGang, and it is a fantastic overhaul light that adds in a ton of items to the game. So as you're playing and killing zombies and stuff like that, you have a chance to find these in their loots. You have ammos, you have magazines, and most importantly, the things you're going to need for this mod are rotting flesh, raw meat, and broken glass. When you click on these and you select recipe, you see we have essence of life. And on the rotting flesh, it gives us essence of death. Those are important as all get out. If I type in essence here, you see we have a lot of essences. And the reason why is because each item you want to craft is going to require an upgrade gem. And we'll get into that in a second, and it's going to require different ones. But the essences have a flow pattern. So the essence of life, as you see, is just raw meat, and the essence of death is rotting flesh. But there's also eyeballs, brain, hand, liver, kidney, stuff like that that you can craft them with. And as you craft them, it's going to give you a tier. You can combine life and death into a purgatory essence, and then you can combine life and death and purgatory into a soul. And then you can combine all four of those into a darkness. And the reason why that is important is because in order to craft the different upgrade gems to be able to craft certain items, you have to have those essences. Like to craft an axe upgrade, you have to have an essence of death. But in order to craft an armor upgrade, you have to have an essence of purgatory. And then to go to the tier 2s, this is an essence of soul. And then just the weapon, for the armor, it's an essence of soul. For the axe, it's an essence of life. And it's the same for all of them. And you see how many essences it costs. So glass is going to be a very particular thing. You're going to want to gather up a whole bunch of these. And then for the tier 3, essence of darkness for the armor, and for the axe, essence of purgatory. And we go to tier 4. Oop, too far. Tier 4, essence of soul for the armor. And then for all the weapons, it's essence of soul as well. And I'll just pick some random weapons so you guys can see. And then for the tier 5, essence of darkness, essence of darkness. And it requires so much. But the cool thing is each item can level up to level 99. And you do that by reading these magazines. So we're going to read some magazines. You see our magazines shows 5 of 400. And we're actually just going to read a bit more. And there we go. And then we're going to come in here, we're going to look. So we haven't quite unlocked being able to craft the stone sacred axe yet, because we need level 100. And that's where it's really kind of breaks out, is the higher this goes, the higher level it unlocks for being able to craft those items. So at level 100 of this, you can craft a level 1 sacred axe. But at level 200, you can craft a level 99 stone axe. At level 300, you can craft a level 99 iron axe. At level 400, you can craft a level 99 steel axe. And the chainsaws, I've never actually been able to craft a level 99. I'm not sure what I did wrong. But yeah, that's at least how I've seen it being worked with this. Is it's like it scales with the... How was that? You okay, bro? I don't think he's okay. You okay, bro? I don't think he's okay. But that's how I've seen it scale. That's at least worked during our testing, is it's worked out like that. But you also see we have just a ton of items here. And if we want to say sacred, want to do sacred pipe pistol, pipe machine gun. We need a T1 machine gun upgrade gem, short iron pipe, glue, wood. But we already have a stone axe. So you see, it's not super ultra great, but these are just items that are going to pop out of zombies, and you're going to be able to get higher and higher and higher and higher, which is just fantastic because I really like having an upgrade path for all of my items. And there's nothing better than if we come in here and we look than having some items that just go super duper crazy good, really nice. There is, however, an unfortunate side effect that I've been playing around with. If you're using this mod, like you see I've got the sacred weapons we covered earlier on here, there's a weird impact where it doesn't give you the scale to level 99 option, and I don't know why. It, for some reason, like certain mods just impact it, and I can't figure out why. So if I say like tier 4, they kind of stop for whatever reason at level 6. I don't know why. Sacred T4, yeah, it just, I don't know why they stopped there. But it is still a fantastic mod if you're just, you know, playing with this by yourself. If you're one of those people, it adds in so much longevity to the game. You can have just a ton of fun with it. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move over to the next mod. Alright folks, so this last mod is the super cool weapon pack by Panstain, and this thing adds in a ton of items. It adds in a ton of guns, ton of melee weapons, just all around super cool. And it goes from tier 0 to tier 4 for most of them. Not all of them, but just most of them. So we're going to jump into it, and for the pistols, we have a junk pistol, which looks kind of cool. Really like the way it looks. Hey, there we go. Shoot him. Doesn't exactly have super high damage, but it's still kind of nice. Oop, wrong one. And then we have a H&K SUP-9, which is pretty cool. And then we have a SIG P320, which looks pretty neat. And then we have an Ace of Spades, which looks just really good. You saw that. Let's try that again. Cow! And yes, it shoots the 44 rounds, which is good. And then we have a ray gun, which shoots a new ammo type. Look at that. Look at how cool that looks. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. I love the way that thing looks. And then we have the laser pistol, which goes bloop. Does the same thing, but doesn't sound as good. And then we have a laser revolver, which does the same thing, but again, doesn't sound as good. I like the other noise. Look at that. But you see, it does do some decent little environmental damage to the ground there, knocking up stuff. So that's one thing to worry about. But the laser pistol, the laser revolver, the ray gun, and the, it's just the ray gun, the laser pistol, and the laser revolver are tier 4. The Ace of Spades is tier 3. The SIG P is tier 2. The USP is tier 1. And the tier 0 is the junk pistol, which is the same as the pipe pistol stuff. And if we actually type in junk pistol, you see what it takes to make it. Just the same as making the normal pipe pistol, but it's a lot easier to reload. We don't actually have any 9mm, so we're going to spawn some 9mm in real quick so I can show you. Super easy to reload, so much better than the pipe pistol. You don't have a 45-second reload animation, not that the pipe pistol actually has one, but it's really nice to have it like that. And then for shotguns, for the tier 1, we have the IZH, the IZH-18, which we should probably have spawned in some shotgun ammo, so my bad. But we'll go ahead and spawn in some shotgun and some 7.62 while we're here. So you see the reload animation. This one, unfortunately, is just slow, but it still looks really good. I actually like the look of that better than I do the pipe shotgun. And then we have a triple barrel here, which has 3 rounds. And then you see how you reload it. Pretty nice. And then we have the M90, which is the tier 2, while the triple barrel was tier 1. Boom. Fantastic. And then the tier 4 is the SPAS 12 Apocalypse Edition. Boom! I like the way this one looks. It looks really cool as well. And then we have a laser shotgun, which is the tier 4. I love this one too. This one's just really fun to play around with. Look at that. God, I love those particle effects. It's just so good. This is a really good mod. It's just super fun. And then for SMGs, for a tier 1, we have the Kipperus. Pretty nice. And then for tier 3, we have a heavy SMG. Has some kick to it, but it's still pretty fun. And then we have a laser SMG for tier 4. And that one is just super fun. And then for the rifles, we have a SLF and a junk rifle that are both tier 1s. This one is probably my favorite just because of how it looks. I really like the way that when you shoot it like that, it rotates like that, and how you aim. Like I love this one so much. It's so funny to see. And then the SLF, is that right? Yeah, SLF. This single shot, fortunately. And then for the tier 2, we have the scrap rifle, which could reverse the scrap rifle and the junk rifle, but I get why it's like that, because the scrap rifle just doesn't look as good. And then for the tier 3, we have the M1 Garand, or I'm sorry, for the tier 2, it's the M1 Garand. Just fantastic bolt action, fantastic loading animation, just looks so fantastic. And then for the tier 3, I'm sorry, it is the Shayak M2 200 Intervention. God, that just looks so good. It sounds so good. Animations are fantastic on this. It looks so gravy. That's so sweet. And then for the tier 4, it is the Laser Sniper, which not quite as fun to, you know, play around with. It does have a wide spread even when you're aiming down sights. I'm not really sure why, but it is still very fun to play around with. And then for the machine guns, we have a junk machine gun, and then sorry, I thought the junk machine gun and the Apocalypse Edition AK were both tier 0. It's not. The Apocalypse Edition AK-47 is the tier 1. Fires a little bit slower, but man, it looks so good shooting. Love that. And then for the tier 2, it's a Stoner 63. Very satisfying to shoot, very good feel. And then for the tier 4, it is this N4 Honey Badger. You guys notice that? The first time you shoot it, shoots a little bit faster, and then it just kind of goes tick, tick, tick. I actually really like that one look as well. And then for the tier 4, we have, or I'm sorry, the tier 3, we have the RPK 16. Very, very good one. And then the tier 4 is a Laser MG. Very tight grouping. Very fun to shoot. And then we get into the melee weapons, and we have some knives here. We have a wrench knife, which just looks like a piece of sharpened metal. And then we have a ballistic knife, which makes me think that you're gonna throw a grenade with it. And then we have a thermal katana, which is the tier 3, and the ballistic knife is the tier 2. And then for spears, we have a super cool rock spear, which looks really nice at tier 1, or I'm sorry, tier 0. And then at tier 1, we have a tribal spear. And then at tier 3, we have a ceremonial spear. And then sledgehammers, we have a war sledge at tier 0. A thermal sledge at tier 1, which looks really good. And then at tier 3, we have a demon sledge, which looks pretty good as well. I like the covered in, you know, little runes and stuff like that. And then we also have a truncheon and a kanbo and a war mace for one-handed clubs. The truncheon is the tier 0, the kanbo is tier 1, and the war mace is tier 3, which is really nice. There are no tier versions yet of the melee weapons, but all of them are super cool to have, super cool to find and loot. And the laser weapons you can only buy from the traders, but it's really cool that they're in there, even though the ray gun is probably still my favorite. I love that noise. It functions the same thing as the other ones. I like the way that it looks, and I love the noise. And it and the junk rifle are my 2 favorites out of the whole mod set, just because of how they look and sound. But with that, folks, we are done for the week. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you had fun. If you liked the episode, go ahead, like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Have fun, take it easy, and we will see you next time.